I'm John Talty. Alongside me is Matt Zenitz. Now, Matt, it seems like throughout the season, Nick Saban's talked about offensive identity, trying to find it. It seems like against Georgia that we saw probably the preferred Alabama offensive identity.
Yep, they've talked at different points during the course of the year about getting back to that old school Alabama approach that regardless whether teams knew what was coming or not, that Alabama would be able to be successful and just be able to overwhelm opponents regardless of who they were facing at the line of scrimmage. And you saw a significant step forward against Georgia. There were plenty of positives during the course of that game, but the offensive line, which honestly struggled at times during the course of the first 4 games and struggled against inferior teams like Middle Tennessee and Louisiana Monroe, was completely dominant against a Georgia defensive front with some future NFL players in there. The offensive line cleared holes for Derrick Henry. Pass protection was a question mark for me going into that game. No sacks allowed, no quarterback hurries allowed, despite facing Jordan Jenkins and Leonard Floyd, who could be 2 early round picks in next year's draft. So it was a big step forward for the offensive line. You saw Jay Coker take a step forward and be able to capitalize and take advantage of some of the increased attention paid to the running game based on some of that success. And just all around, you saw, I guess, a step forward. I was trying to think of different words to use, but a step forward just in terms of them getting back to that old school kind of approach and establishing that identity that they've wanted to for a while now.
Yeah, as you kind of said, it seemed like, with getting the running game moving, it really opened up things for Jake. And I think it also seemed like a big benefit is it took pressure off of Jake. Against that Ole Miss loss, they're down early. They end up throwing the ball 59 times. Against Georgia, they throw it 16 with Coker. And I feel like it kind of allows him to be more comfortable, more efficient. And I think I would expect to see a lot more of that this week. Another kind of smash-mouth game against Arkansas. It's, a game in which you can kind of just get the air out of the football, run the ball a lot, and be efficient. And I would imagine with the success of this game, you try to take that moving forward and see if this is the identity that you can keep for at least a few weeks now. And you might have to change things a little bit against more of a open spread team like Texas A&M. But for right now, it seems like this is a big step forward for this offense. Check back at AL.com for the rest of the week for tons of coverage, looking back at the Georgia game and also looking forward to this big game against Arkansas.